Welcome back to another episode of That Don't Sound Right, a podcast about talking. We're your co-hosts. I'm Peter Billman.
I'm Cecil Davis.
And we're just trying to have a conversation without Googling or fact-checking. Those things can so easily kill the conversation.
And tonight we're talking about inverters. Now,
Well, good night.
thank you for listening. Before you leave our conversation tonight, we're talking about inverters, but we will make it as entertaining as we always do.
We do.
So you called me this week and you said, "Hey Cecil, do you have an inverter?"
An inverter, right? Because we had this big snowstorm coming.
Yeah.
Big snow and ice, crippling ice, as the weather people say.
Yeah. And we were preparing, and you asked, "Do I have an
Yeah.
inverter?"
Did you have an inverter?
And
there's not too many people I will ask that question.
And I had something downstairs I thought might have been an inverter, but it was a transformer.
Right.
But I did not have an inverter.
Right.
But you went and bought an inverter.
I went ahead and bought it.
So you bought it, but now you bought it, and we'll explain what an inverter is. But you bought it because you bought a RAV4, right?
Right. I have this. It's a RAV4 Prime. It's 2023. It's a plug-in hybrid vehicle, and so it has a huge. So hybrid cars just have gasoline, and they use a battery electric motor.
A big battery.
A big battery. Well, they use a battery to help get the car started.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you slow down and brake, you recharge that battery. And then when you get going again, it just helps it get started. Plug-in hybrid has a huge battery that I can actually drive almost 45 miles on just the battery alone.
Really?
Yeah. So it's probably about a 18, I forgot what the actual, but it's somewhere around the 14 to 18 kilowatt hours.
All right, just remember, Chris is listening to this, so we got to get all the electrical part of this right.
We're going to get this right.
We're going to get a letter.
Now, he might throw his phone out the window after he hears what I'm doing to make this work.
I think he's had some friends that have done something similar to this.
Right.
So let's hear. So what were you planning on doing? The thought was, if we lost power, you were going to...
I was going to use that battery as basically my power source for my house.
And you called me.
I did.
And asked.
You
called me and said you were doing this.
Yeah, right.
And then
I texted you.
Yeah, as gently and as respectfully as I could, I said, "Hey, have you ever tried this before?"
Right. You may not want to do this for the first time during the ice storm.
I said, "Are you sure?" Yeah, I think I asked, "Do you want my opinion?"
Yes.
And you said yes.
Of course.
And I said, "Are you sure you want to do this?" For the first time during the ice storm.
Right.
But what were you doing?
So what I was doing is, the short story is, I can turn on the car.
Okay.
And I can hook this inverter to the battery of the car. And the battery is DC, direct current.
Yes.
And what the inverter does, it converts it to AC, what your house powers on. Simply put, it just converts from DC to AC. And since I have this huge reserve, I had this large battery in the car, unlike a normal 12-volt battery, which might last you 10 minutes, this thing will last me 8 hours before it needs to be recharged. Yeah. Based on the 2,000 watt inverter.
And what would it run in those 8 hours?
So I have it set up to run. It'll easily run my freezer.
Okay.
It'll easily run my refrigerator, and it'll easily run many lights in the house.
Okay. Now you weren't just plugging the inverter in and then plugging drop cords into the inverter. You're actually backfeeding into your circuit. Backfeeding.
Right? So this is where it gets sketchy.
Yeah.
And this is where Chris starts throwing his phone.
Well, now, just so you made a video of this. We're going to put the video up.
Yeah, it's a short, but I don't show you the details on how you backfeed.
You showed me enough that I was like, this doesn't sound right. Right. It doesn't look right. Okay, right. So like when I plug my generator, when I start my generator up, I run drop cords out to
a drop cord, extension cord.
Yeah, extension cord to a very normal looking plug, which I plug the extension cord in, run them into the house, plug everything up. You're not doing that. You're wiring it directly into your fuse box.
I'm not even doing that, Cecil.
Oh.
I'm using an extension cord, and I'm using a double-sided jumper. It basically has prongs on both sides.
Okay.
All right.
And
I plug that into one of the outlets in my garage.
Really?
Yes. Okay. And then that plugs into an extension cord, and that goes to the inverter. And so now I have electricity going into the plug, into the regular old wall plug in the house. But what you have to do to make this work,
Okay.
all right, and to make this safe, is that
All
when
right,
you
kids, don't do this at home.
when you lose power,
Right.
you have to go downstairs and you have to shut off the main breaker.
Because if the power comes back on while you've got this plugged up, what happens?
Well, I don't know, but that's not why you do it.
Okay.
The reason you do that is that if you don't, I will actually feed electricity into the house, but then back into the main line and out to the poles.
Oh.
And so if there's a lineman going out there to work on the power lines, he thinks the lines are dead. But there's some joker like me powering them with my generator or my battery,
right?
And he can get zapped,
Jeez.
right? So
Okay.
that's what
Safety.
you have to do.
Safety
So,
first,
right? So you have to turn off the main breaker, and then what you do is you turn off all the other main breakers, turn them all off.
So you're feeding electricity back into the circuitry,
Yeah,
through an outlet.
through an outlet.
But now, how do you control which outlets?
That's what I was. Yeah. So what you do is you turn off all your breakers,
Okay.
all of them. Turn off the main,
Right.
turn all the other ones off.
Okay.
Plug it in, start it up, and then you
Right.
turn on the one breaker that you know is hooked up to the generator, to the battery.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have to be sure that particular circuit is a big circuit.
Mm-hmm.
In your house, you have different amperages on your circuits.
Yes.
15, 20, maybe a 30, but it's usually 20
Right.
is your biggest one. And so what you want to make sure you do is you plug it into a 20 because all of the electricity is going to go through this one circuit. And it's not used to doing it, right? It's not used to having, but with 2,000 watts,
Right.
I'm not going to exceed that. I'm not going to exceed 20 amps.
Hmm.
So anyway, you feed it into there, you turn that one on. Now the board is energized. And then you specifically turn on the breakers you want to power in the house.
How did you figure out how to do this?
I did some reading. I
Okay.
actually looked up a guy on YouTube who did this, and he actually got into the details if the RAV4 could do it. Because
this was specific to the RAV4.
This is specifically to the RAV4 because there's some other things going on in the car that may or may not work in this situation, and he proved that they did work. So I was
what was the situation?
Well, the situation is that you hook up the inverter to a 12-volt battery, a normal 12-volt battery inside the car, but the big hybrid battery is 600 volts.
All right.
Right? So there's a DC to DC converter inside your car that steps that down from 600 volts to 12 volts to keep that 12-volt battery charged when it starts to go down.
Okay.
Well, the amount of current that flows through there, you got to know what that is. You got to know how much power it can handle. And it turns out it can handle 6.6 kilowatts. So me putting a 2 kilowatt inverter is not going to be a problem. He actually tested with a 5 kilowatt.
So are you hooking it to that smaller battery, or are you hooking into the main battery?
No, I'm hooking it to the smaller battery.
Okay, and everything's flowing through that circuit
It
into
is.
your house.
Yep, that's right.
So
Isn't that amazing?
How did you even get this idea? Did you just hear about it
on
the internet, or you thought about it?
No, I've always thought that I've got this big battery, and so someone must have figured this out. That this is a power source. Because right now you can buy battery backups, right?
You're right.
You can buy battery, and you can buy pretty big ones, and they're expensive.
I've seen you can buy battery banks that go in your basement now.
Yep, exactly.
Are charging all the time.
Right.
Then if your power goes out, it works like a generator, a whole house generator.
Exactly.
It powers your whole house off of these banks.
Tesla.
Yeah, Tesla makes them.
They make called the Powerwall.
Right.
And it's just basically it's the same cells that their car uses.
Right.
Right. And so I said, well, let me just tap into mine.
Right.
Why do I need to buy a separate one? I have 18 kilowatt hours worth of power sitting right in my driveway.
Right. Just feet away from your outlet.
And all I really want to do, I have gas logs in the house, so I can keep the house warm.
Yeah.
I just want to keep my food cold.
Right.
And maybe turn on some lights. You know how much, and you don't. I mean, you just feel a lot more civilized when you can turn on a light in the house, not walking around with a lantern.
Yeah.
Right.
You do. You're right.
You really can.
So when the power went out, the one time I've used the generator, power went out, and it was nice. We had lamps plugged in, and it was nice just to be able to have a circle of light.
It is.
Around the house.
But I never got to test it.
Well, you were ready.
I was ready, and I what I didn't get to test was backfeeding the house. Okay.
And you still haven't tested it?
I haven't tested the backfeed of the house, but I've tested the system with the extension cord. So what I did is I went in my garage and I turned on my bright LED light, and then I hooked up a 1500 watt space heater.
And everything ran.
It went great.
That's great, man.
It has a little display. It tells you how much power you're drawing, what your voltages are.
The inverter does.
Yeah. The inverter tells you.
How much was the inverter?
It was $100.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for 100, I mean, basically you've done what you would spend 2,000 or 3,000 to buy a generator.
But a generator, right.
But you did it with the battery.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen these power walls. Different people make them, and I've thought about that. That would be really nice to have that just charging all the time.
Yeah.
And you can even hook them up to solar cells now, I've seen.
Right.
And charge them all the time. That would be a cool thing to do.
And the beauty thing about the RAV4 is so it'll last me about 8 hours, 7 to 8 hours. So when that battery gets down, guess what happens next? I go outside and I start the gasoline motor on the car, and guess what it does?
Charges the battery.
In an hour and a half, it recharges that battery. The whole battery.
So you've got me thinking about this, because I also have batteries for, I got rid of all my gas mowers and everything.
Yeah, you did.
So I've now got these batteries, these lithium-ion batteries.
All right.
And they, the company I use, the Ego.
Ego.
They make an inverter for those batteries.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Well, a lot of the companies do now.
Yeah.
Like if you look at DeWalt or Milwaukee or any of them, they have those power packs where you can take the batteries for all your tools,
plug them in,
charge them, but you can also use them as an inverter and plug things into them. Yeah. There's
some small things, but
small things.
But you still, nonetheless, lights, recharge your phone, listen to the emergency radio.
That's right. Listen to the podcast.
I'm sorry. And the other thing I was going to do, provided the cable was still on,
right?
I was going to have my Wi-Fi up, and I was going to have my TVs on.
Really?
Oh yeah, it'll fire that up easy.
Well, now I have thought about paying to have a box put on the house where I can plug the gas generator directly into the house.
Now that's the safe
feed in.
That's the safe way to do it. That's the right way to do it.
And I don't know how that works. I don't know if it. I guess you still have to cut your main off before you power that up.
You do. You have to go there. But the way they do it is they have a special little switch, and there's a sequence of events that you have to follow. But what it does, it prevents you from energizing the house with your generator before you cut the main off.
Okay.
But it's just really a metal plate that kind of, it's like a puzzle piece that prevents you from physically moving a switch before the other switch is moved. That's all it is.
Right.
And then you have a dedicated electrical line that's probably 30 amps and a dedicated special plug that you plug it in. So this pigtail that Chris knows what I'm talking about. So it's basically, it's a piece of an extension cord that has the male in on one side.
Did you make it?
I did. On the male in on one side. Well, they won't sell them.
Chris is writing the letter right now.
They don't sell them because they're called suicide cords.
Really?
Electricians can lose their license if they're caught with one of these.
Really?
Yeah.
So,
and on the other side, I bought a plug kit and I screwed on and wired up a male side to the other side. So it's just a 2-foot section of extension cord with 2 male ends on it.
Why would an electrician lose its license for that?
Because they are extremely dangerous.
Oh, gotcha.
Because when you plug that into the wall, right? When you plug that into the wall, now you have another male end that is energized that you can just touch, right? When you think about it, our whole system is set up that you can't. All the plugs that are energized are female, where there's nothing that you bump into it, you're not going to get zapped. Right. But when it's the male end, you bump up to those 2 prongs, you're going to get zapped. Wow. So that's why it's called a suicide cord. It's popular to use when you're stringing up lights. You're stringing up your lights and you're like, I got that over now. I didn't match them up. Yeah. So you go get a suicide cord and you solve your problem. Huh. Yeah. Oh, it's bad. Oh,
again, don't try this at home.
Don't do this. Yeah. I didn't even mention this part in the short because I wanted to be able to explain it very clearly and make people understand that there's a safe way to do this and there's an unsafe way to do this. Right. And no matter what I'm doing, it's probably the unsafe way, but I'm being very, very specific. The other downside of this, well, even having it hardwired, is that you have to shut the power off to your house. Yeah. Which means you don't really know whenever the power comes back on, right? Because you're always on the generator. Yeah, watch your neighbors. See if their lights come on. Like, the power's back on.
I have thought if I ever had the money about putting a whole house generator in. They're
Yeah.
$5,000 to $6,000.
They're
And you have to
pricey.
you have to have a gas line or
Yeah.
a propane tank or something like that. But that's nice that power would go
It's
off,
very nice.
come back on. We have those at work. 15
Yeah.
seconds, whatever, everything's back
Yeah,
on.
I know. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be nice.
Yeah.
It would be nice.
And that's the
Do you
same
have,
thing.
you have natural gas? Do you have natural gas run to your house?
I don't have natural gas.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so I have to run a line for
Yeah.
it. But that does everything for you, I'm assuming. That it powers down your house.
Yes, it is an automated lockout. So when the power goes out, it isolates the house from the grid, fires up the generator, off you go. And then when the grid comes back on, it senses it, shuts the generator down,
right,
switches you back onto the grid. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we are sitting here a week later from this ice storm that we had, and still 2-3 inches of ice on the ground.
On your driveway, man.
Yeah.
I looked at your driveway. It was it didn't look like you've even driven on it. Have you gone anywhere?
We've driven on it, but and most of the driveways in this part of the neighborhood look like that.
Yeah, the city's done a terrible job on plowing these streets. And it's not like they even put salt down.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. So I've still known people a week later or 5 days later that have trouble getting out of the driveway.
Well, school's been out all week.
School's been out. And it's supposed to snow again tonight.
It's supposed to, but I'm not. Don't become emotionally attached to this forecast, all right?
But you're prepared.
I'm ready.
If the power goes out.
Well, the twist is about this storm that to come. It is going to be pretty windy.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be pretty windy. So that's how you're going to lose your power.
Well, you'll be on the inverter. I'll be running the generator.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then we can use our short range radios and talk to each other, or text each other for
Morse code back and forth,
40 characters at a time.
All right. Well, don't try anything that we've discussed in this episode.
No, I'd love to hear from Chris though.
Yeah, Chris is right. He's now probably into his second email at this point.
Chris, just go ahead and call me.
Yeah, just go ahead and just call us directly. He's driving up here right now to make sure he's on the next episode. YouTube's going great. Thank you for what you're doing on YouTube. We've still got the strange situation where the lower effort shorts are doing really well. We picked up a couple new subscribers.
Yeah, welcome. If you're a new subscriber.
New subscribers, thank you for being here. But the rule is, if you're a new subscriber, you need to go get 1 or 2 new subscribers.
That's right.
Tell
2 friends and have them tell 2 friends.
What we really like for you to do is just get one of your loved ones' phones and break into it and then just subscribe for them.
Just hit the subscribe button.
That's all you need to do. All right, this is the end of this very dangerous episode.
Again, welcome if this is your first time listening or watching us on YouTube. We hope you enjoyed the episode. Please hit that subscribe button. Again, you won't get any email from us for doing that. And then for those longtime listeners, thanks for your support. Thanks for being there. And thanks for your emails. Love to hear from you on our email, tdsrpodcast@gmail.com. Drop us a line about some of the sketchy things you've done with electricity.
All right, That Don't Sound Right is production of TSR Podcast in conjunction with Camel City Studios. I'm your co-host and sound engineer. Peter's the other host, does all your stuff online. Camille is your part-time barista. Ella does your Instagram. Emily does your graphic design. Giorgio tests all of our merchandise. Brent is our international brand ambassador. And as always, listener number 1 is Scott. So until next week, keep talking.
And stay curious.